there, this is the voice of Squire Callahan Ridgeborn, almost a Battlemaster, always a wizard. And tonight, for a special audio-only edition of Paragon Interviews, I am joined by Breadlord MangoSoup Fuzz, a Paragon Assassin out of the Kingdom of Polaris. Fuzz, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you. I'm excited to talk about my favorite class.
Fuzz, I'm so excited to have you here. For anyone who is at home today, we're actually shadow dropping this episode as a direct response to Kite, who talked about Paragon Scout. So be sure to check out the Paragon Scout video as well, and you can get some of the compare and contrast between these two rivals at their local park. So Fuzz, Kite actually doesn't know that we're recording this and we're going to drop it at the same time. What do you think Kite's reaction is going to be?
He's definitely going to have a giggle. He's going to see this probably at work and be like, "Oh my gosh." It's going to be really funny.
I think that this is going to be great. Fuzz, how did you get started in Amtgard?
Oh my gosh. I started about 10 or 9 years ago when my brother was actually in the game before me. And my mom basically said, "Hey, you're an angsty teen, you need to make more friends." She brought me out, and that is how I got introduced, basically.
Okay. That's a unique one. I haven't heard anybody else that is getting forced out of the house by their mom.
Literally, it was so funny. I was so resistant. I was like, I don't want to go to this. This is weird and nerdy. My brother's in it. He's a dork.
Does your brother still play?
He passed away 3 years ago, and I actually inherited his sword and a lot of his gear. And the spirit of the game and everything that he loved inspires me to this day. It pushes me forward. It makes me want to run around the world and visit everyone. And he was an amazing inspiration to me, actually.
Can you give us a fun fact about yourself?
Personal fun fact. I am a master dragon.
Oh, okay. What kind of master dragon are you?
I do a lot of painting, digital art, and I've dunked my hands a little bit in leatherworking and stuff like that. I'm not the best. I tried doing threads. I can't sew to save my life. Kite would be so upset with me.
Okay.
But it's mostly
really cool.
2D art.
All right. So, what is your favorite kind of battle game?
My favorite type of battle game. I won't lie. I don't like it when they're very complex. I like a nice, simple team versus team. Try to get the objective.
All right.
Yeah, the captain's pretty fun, I'd say.
Okay.
When I'm not the captain, of course.
I don't
want to be targeted.
You're the assassin.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. What made you start playing assassin?
I think when I started, I was looking for a class that was relatively easy to understand, and it also just aesthetically looks cool. Like, when I started, I was this little punk, and I saw the class of, like, cool, you could be all sneaky in shadows, and I was like, ooh, that one. Because I tried out Monk, and I just could not figure it out.
Monk can be a tricky class to be good at.
I think it's the weapons, because the first thing that I picked up was polearm, actually. The first weapon I picked up was polearm.
That is not a beginner weapon.
No, it is not. Because I started back at the end of V7, I want to say?
Okay.
Back then, I don't know when you started, but back then a lot of the triggers for abilities and stuff were a little different. You know, poison used to be 100 count.
Okay,
a lot of things were different back then.
V7 then.
Oh yeah, like I started in like the very end of that era, which was such a weird culture shock to be like, wait, what? Poison just kills people? That's insane.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I started back in 2017, and so poison's just always been an instant kill for me. And
I tell you what.
About, like 100 count to being dead, I'm like, well, first off, I'm really bad at counting, so that's never gonna happen.
Oh my gosh.
Like.
It was really funny because you'd see people panicking and running around the field, like, looking for a healer because they only had 100 seconds to do something before they just dropped dead.
Okay. I think that in V7, the transition from V7 to V8, from everything I've heard, we moved a lot more from being a LARP towards being more of a sport, and I don't think that was a bad thing, because I think it increased the amount of fun. We did lose some flurb along the way, but...
Yeah,
the rules
I
make
agree
a lot
with
more
you.
sense now.
I agree with you. I think it was easier for people to grasp, and it definitely helped things smooth out. But I will say that I absolutely miss the flurb side of it. And with the recent new subclasses for all the classes and stuff like that, it's actually bringing it back. I feel like it's definitely pushing people to be like delving into a subclass or whatever to push them into wanting to be more roleplay like.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. Well, so we know why you started playing Assassin. What made you fall in love with the Assassin class and really stick with it for all this time?
Definitely the silly moments within a battle game as all this chaos is going on and all these things are happening, people are shouting, and the goofy little side shenanigans that I'd get into. I'd be flanking and see a healer all by themselves, and I'd walk up to them, sneaking, and then I'd see they weren't noticing me, and then something funny would happen, like they'd offer to heal me, or they'd be like, hey, can you help me out? I'm like, sure, why not? So I'd just go on these little side adventures, and because you're not fully a frontline and you can kind of do whatever you want, I think the class really opens you up to a side of the field that not many people get to see. Like, obviously, the experience of an assassin is going to be different than the experience of a warrior, like a 6-point warrior on the front line.
Okay. Yeah, you definitely get
I would say the goofy.
Okay. So this is a fun new question that I just started asking yesterday.
Ooh.
What fictional character do you think best represents the assassin class?
Okay, so I actually looked at the wiki, and I was just like refreshing myself because I know there's a couple things that are different. And when it says examples, it says Ninja, it says Hassan, and then Inaros, and then Loki. And the last one jumped out to me, Loki. I absolutely love North mythology, and I love Loki as a character, and I'd say that I fit into that category of goofy trickster, and I feel Loki's pretty darn fitting for the class, at least how I play.
Okay, I can see that.
Mischief, a little teeny bit of magic, causing people to go, ah, dang you.
When the assassin sneaks up on you, that you always kind of have to deal with that, and you're like, oh man, I forgot about the assassins. So that's a very fair thing to say. Yeah, I like that. Okay. What about assassin makes it unique? What makes it stand out from all the other classes in Amtgard?
I would say the amount of abilities that safeguard you that make you go in sub. I'd say out of all the other classes, there's a few other ones that would make good assassins. I know Druid has a weird build where you can kind of basically play assassin, but I'd say all the abilities that get you in and out of combat and away from danger would make it pretty unique.
I'd agree with you there. So, how does assassin overlap with other classes?
I feel that there are some classes that sometimes play assassin better than assassin. The Take the Form of Stone spell for Druid used to be so much faster than the assassins I Step into the Shadows. And the way you get out of that used to be faster, because it was, Earth release me, and you're out. Like, that's how it used to be.
Now they have to...
And for the longest time...
Now they have to double tap the Earth release me, and that...
Yep.
Yeah, there was a guy at my very first park, notorious for using stone form, and he played assassin and he played druid, and he played them both the same way. He would run up, look like he was about to engage, take the form of stone, and then as soon as you stopped looking at him, then he'd pop out and whack you.
Exactly.
Yep. Okay. So,
I'd say it overlaps a little bit with druid, weirdly enough.
Yeah, druid also gets a decent amount of poison if they're doing avatar. They can take a ton of poisons on the per life level there.
Oh yeah.
I hadn't really thought about that, but druid can play assassin very similarly. Okay.
The little joke I always got a kick out of was a lot of the classes are just assassin with extra steps. It's like healer. Healer makes a weirdly good assassin. You could even swift teleport with it.
I know you can swift teleport as a healer, but I'm going to need you to elaborate on how it's a better assassin.
How is it a better assassin? No one expects a healer to be flanking. No one expects a healer to be running up to you and iceballing you and then being like, haha, I'm going to go do the objective. I pick up classes, and when I do, I play basically as an assassin with extra steps. Because I flank as a healer, and I do all that stuff, which is really goofy.
I have never seen a flanking healer before, and I feel like if I saw a healer on the back line, I would just assume they were on my team.
And then that's the trick of it all, is it's all about mind games. When you play assassin, it's all about mind games.
That's so devious.
I know. I've done it before, and it works. Because when someone turns around and sees that big, lovely red strip, they're like, a healer! Then they turn around, and then it's like, I'm not here to heal you. Quite the opposite, my friend.
Well, yeah, and they have that sever spirit as well, so they can even do the cursing thing. That might be the new sleeper assassin tech build, is to play healer.
Yeah, and you can play selfish and just keep yourself alive. And they get, sword and board is really effective, especially when you need to sneak up on people.
I like that. Okay. So, What roles does Assassin fill really well? Obviously, it's good at flanking, but is it good at any of the other roles on the battlefield?
I would say messing with the objective. So if you're playing a battle game and the objective is to move something, assassins are good at just kind of getting in the way and stopping people from doing things because they do have very strong poison is very strong, obviously. It's to insta kill if you manage to hit on an unarmored area. I would say that not only are they good at just kind of getting in people's way and stirring up the objective, they're obviously good at flanking, distracting also, just pulling people and getting them to follow you, kiting, if you will. And if they don't take you seriously and they don't follow you, you just continue your flank and then go stab them. They're not looking at you.
All right. Which assassin ability do you like the best?
Oh! It's going to sound really dumb, but the being able to stop people.
Oh, the hold person?
Yep, hold person. That's probably one of my favorites, weirdly enough.
Oh, okay. That's a bit of a sleeper pick. How do you make the best use of that?
Say you're pressing an objective. Say you're playing Kill the Captain, and there's a big scary guy walking up to you, and you see that your captain's in danger, and he sees it too. You can stop him, and then go, bye-bye, and then run away. And go save your friend.
Okay.
It holds that person there. They can just kind of stand there and wait, and if they're smart, they'll shake it off. But, yeah, it's good at just keeping someone locked down for a brief moment, enough for you to get past them, especially if you're trying to, not necessarily, because the risk, like if you walk up to someone who's heavily armored and the risk is high to try to defeat them, it would just be better to stop them and make them someone else's problem and then move to where you want.
Right.
Another thing is, say the objective is to, again, like for Kill the Captain, you can stop the captain, and then your team can just go over there and beat him up.
That would be one way of capturing the captain, yeah.
Yeah, and then my second after Hold Person is, I love Blink. I think it's hilarious. Blink is so silly.
It's such a strong spell, too.
Yeah, it's very strong, it's very nice, and as a tip for all of you out there who are wondering how to use it, never use it to engage. Ever. It is a death trap if you use it to engage. Always use it to get out. Okay. Run towards your friends with that spell.
That makes sense. Alright.
Yeah.
The opposite side of that coin now, what is the class ability on Assassin you like the least?
Teleport. It's loud, it takes too long, and there's like 7 spells that can kill you when you're an in-sub, so why have teleport if you can't swift it?
Yeah. Okay. I can see that.
I rarely get to use it at Park because my counter, Kite Beloved, will beat me up if I even try to use it because he plays Scout.
Yeah.
I've learned over the years that it is I've never used it successfully, and that's mainly because people are smart. They see that incant, they hear that incant, they go, no, you don't get to go over there. Which isn't saying the ability's bad, it's just very easy to counter.
Right. Yeah, I could see that being more useful if you could swift it, or even just if it was a ×3 instead of a ×5, it would be better.
Oh, exactly, yeah. Like Blink is so much better.
Yeah, even with the 50-foot range, 50 feet's a long ways in our game.
Yeah.
So, okay. I want to talk about your capstone ability, that Coup de Grace.
Ah, yes.
So, Coup de Grace. First, walk me through Coup de Grace. How are you using Coup de Grace?
On a Park level, I'll start with Park level.
Okay.
Coup de Grace. Alright, it's a once per life, and it's really fast to get off. Death shall come for thee 3 times. And then the target player dies if they're wounded. It is a very strong ability, and death. So a lot of people are kind of immune to that if they're void type. How I use it at Park level is just to get someone off of an objective or someone out of the way who's very big and scary if they're wounded, obviously. If you're an assassin that plays with a lot of throwies, I'm not personally because I can't hit the broadside of a barn. But if you play with throwies, it's really nice and easy to just throw out their feet and then coup de grace them. Nice and easy, especially if they're a big scary on a big playing field. If there is a congestion of people at a gate or a narrow point, there's probably going to be people that are wounded. When a line is pressing up and there are heavy people in armor who are marching forward with pole arms, there's going to be someone in that clump that is been lagged or something like that. And I use that to create a hole. Because as soon as you break that line of people, especially if it's a very talented frontliner, giving everyone confidence, as soon as you take out that person, boom, they're dead. There is now a hole, there's a gap there, and more than likely the team will slowly back off because they are missing a link in their chain that's helping them press forward.
Okay. Yeah, that makes good sense.
And then at park level, I just do it to whoever I think it's funny.
All right, then. So, something that I wanted to mention, I was talking to Kite. Kite's interview was publishing today, but I recorded it yesterday. When I was talking to Kite, Kite surprised me by telling me that he uses his adaptive protection on Death School.
Yes.
Because there's and he said mostly it's because of you using so many
Yep.
death abilities.
Yes, I do.
So, I wanted to ask you about how are you getting around that adaptive protection death? What are you doing to continue to harass poor Kite?
I won't lie, if I can't kill him with magic, I just fight him. I pull him away from his team, and we both know it is it's a 50-50 if we pull each other away from the group. The only problem is that he can also get poison, so I have to be careful of that, because I'm not immune to poison. If I can't get him with a Coup de Grace or anything like that, he also has a heal, so like, I either use Coup de Grace when I know he's absolutely...
Right.
Otherwise, I kind of just fight him and get him in a location where either my team can press forward and pressure him, or I think I can win because he's distracted, or maybe his weapon is broken so he only has one sword. It's a little different when fighting him as opposed to someone else. If I can't get a coup de grace on someone else, I'll back off, typically. But if it's a fight that I'm a little bit more confident with, I just engage.
Okay. That sounds like a good plan.
Mm-hmm.
So, what weapon style are you using for your assassin build?
As I mentioned previously, I cannot hit people with a throw to save my life, and I'm alright at shooting a bow. I don't prefer it. I use flow. I go flow all the time.
Okay. Are you doing flow shorts or longs?
Typically shorts. I have more control over a short, and I'm more confident with it. Longs are nice, but I feel more safe with 2 shorts.
Okay. Are there any weird rules interactions that assassins get that we should be aware of?
So recently, with all the awesome new additions to each class, there is now trickery that assassins get. I'm pretty sure it's new. I think it's new.
It is,
basically, yeah. You can now cast Blink, Shadow Step, and Teleport on yourself when you are insubstantial. If it is insubstantial that you have cast it on yourself. So, I step into shadows and then I vanish from sight. I think that's kind of silly and fun. Definitely use it to save yourself. If you're in a situation where you're like, oh crap, I shadow stepped in a really bad location, you could try to teleport out, or you could even blink out to get out of the enemy lines.
Absolutely. It also fixed the blink counter that everyone had of being able to just follow you.
Oh, yep, just stand there. Yeah.
Now
that is so nice. Yep. It actually just makes blink even more stronger. Mm-hmm. Because I still think teleport to death.
I don't. Teleport is just a longer blink in a straight line.
It is. It makes. I think what people end up falling for is that since blink has a limited range of only shorter than teleport, I believe. I think. Let me look real quick.
Blink is teleport. 50 feet from your starting point, and teleport is any distance but in a.
Oh, okay, yeah. I forgot about the straight line business.
Well, direct path, not necessarily perfect straight line, but
yeah.
You can move around.
I think it's the speed. I think it's the speed at which you get it off that is a big thing for me. And then I've never used an ability such as Blink or Teleport to just run past everyone because it's painful. I use it in very short bursts. Say, like, I need to get to an area behind my friends, and I'll just, 30 feet, and I'm good to go. Or 20 feet, I'm good to go.
Okay, I can see that. So, I forgot to ask, are you wearing the armor when you play Assassin?
Yes, I have just gotten my my kit nearly completed of just all completely black armor. I look very edgy. I didn't mean to get all black armor because I swear I love the color blue and green, but I look at my kit and I'm like, man, I look so edgy. And it's also because I play AP, so I'm trying to play into the grr, I'm evil look.
Okay, I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to talk about teamwork with assassins. How can other players best support assassins?
I would say that, for example, in my fighting company, we have somebody who prefers using a shield, sword and board, and someone who prefers using a pole. In my opinion, obviously the shield should be protecting the pole, and then if someone runs the pole, the person flanking, often me, with my 2 swords, should engage that person to protect the pole. It is just a good old classic combo of protection, defense, offense, all that good stuff. And in order to work well with an assassin, if you don't want to just sit there and push a line like that, being able to move when they move and pincer when the assassin's ready to engage. I know I've mentioned Kite a lot, but I've known the dude for like 10 years. He is the person that probably... Oh, we made each other like our enemies because we constantly are against each other. But we learned so much from that. Like, you gain so much knowledge from just fighting your best friend. And me and him, when we flank together, even if he's playing Scout, we do this at events. We know how to walk up to somebody and pincher them in a way that opens up locations for both of us to strike in. Whether it be me trying to get a wounds kill, him trying to get a shot with a bow and arrow. Being able to move quickly and flank. Keep up, I would say, too.
So you're opening up opportunities for each other to...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Always look for an advantage. If you're by yourself and you're like, well, this guy's coming at me and you're all alone, get out of there. Unless you are really confident in yourself, or that player happens to be new, or maybe they just, are looking over you, I would say back off and wait till you get someone to help you to open them up a bit.
Is there any enchantments that are really good for assassins?
Oh, I won't lie, a lot of people don't enchant me. I mean, the good old fashioned I've had is lycanthropy, especially when you have two swords and you could just armor breaking, shield crushing. Mm-hmm. Go nuts with. If you are playing, for those of you out there who are just starting the class and you don't have armor and you don't have all the fancy things and you're trying to start out, blessing against wounds, weirdly enough, will save your life more than you think it will. Even if it's one free hit, that's one free hit, one free mistake that you can make before you need to go, and you can get out. For low-level playing, and for those of you who are just starting who don't have armor, definitely blessing against wounds stuff. And then, I mean, Void Touch is just fun in general. It's really nice because it makes you immune to death, which, if you're fighting, anyone with poison or, against another assassin, and then it also makes you immune to sorcery. Sorry, it makes you immune to sorcery, which means if you step into the shadows as an assassin, but you're void touched, you can't be pulled out because guess what? Tracking is sorcery. Yeah. So haha.
So is Dimensional Rift.
Yep, and a lot of the spells that kill you in sub are either sorcery, death, and all above. So void touch is always a good one.
So I want to talk about the weaknesses of the assassin class. So. Mm-hmm. First, how often do you, being an assassin, being deep in the flanking, you probably don't get resurrected all that often, right?
Unless you convince the enemy team to resurrect you, which I have done twice. Yeah, you don't see much healing or support much unless you drag somebody with you.
Okay. So, other than the lack of available support, what is assassin weak to as a class?
If you don't know how to engage somebody with a lot of armor pull, I'd say that a lot of times your weaknesses are going to be when you run out of get out of jail free cards. So if you're out of blinks and out of teleports and all the steps of the shadow, you're a sitting duck. Your saving grace is either backing up and hoping your friends will cover you, or the person will be weirdly enough, if they're too disinterested with you, then you'll be okay and you can sit there and charge stuff. But weaknesses, for how I play, is a lot of it is range. You can get plinked. Because you don't have a shield, your weapons can be broken if they're shot.
Right.
But now, if you're playing bow assassin, a lot of things will be like people sneaking up on you, or someone breaking your bow. I think weaknesses are kind of the generic ones, which is just being overwhelmed by your opponent. As far as abilities go, if someone is immune to death, like half your stuff is kind of useless because you coup de grace and poison are both death. So might as well back off and not engage or just fight them if you're confident with yourself.
Okay. So we already talked about how you're getting out of those bad scenarios, but is there any other ways that you can overcome the weaknesses of Assassin other than really good positioning and knowing when to back?
I would say if you're not too into flanking and you have a buddy with you, have that buddy protect you, and you make sure you protect them back. Because a strong team is everyone looking out for each other. Is supporting one another. And even though you're a heavy offensive class, you can still be super protective, which is pinchering people when they're going after your supports, or pinchering people that are trying to run down your poor wizard. Because guy shouting in the front lines pointing his finger is going to be a bigger target than a lot of people think. I would say just trying to play a little bit closer to your team if you're getting plinked and cornered or stuck in locations, and then making sure you don't get yourself stuck with teleport or blink, because you don't want to accidentally position yourself like in the heart of their fighting line and then get pinchered or beaten up.
Right. Okay. How are you choosing your targets when you're doing that flanking?
I kind of break it down into, well, first of all, if it's park level, it's obviously the person on their team that's the most scariest.
Right.
If I can pull them away, if I can get them to not be there to guide, their team and stuff like that, that's what I do. Yes, healers, but also I think killing a lot of the support classes, any of the other support classes and wizards, I'd say, because a wizard has so many spells that make going insubstantial very dangerous. I kind of ignore people in armor depending on if a bunch of people in armor are pressing up against my team. I don't necessarily always go for them because my front line can deal with that. I would go behind and deal with the people that are supporting their front line. Cause some distractions, cause people to turn and look at me. And then as another note, because I'm devious, I really like targeting other assassins. Okay. It's a bit of a mind game. But if you're flanking and you see another assassin flanking, you lock eyes with them and you puff yourself up and you make it look like it's too dangerous to come over here. Because a lot of people, for example, if you're flanking and you see another assassin, there's some ways about this you can go. You can go, oh, okay, they're not big and scary, like I don't really have to worry about them. They're not too close, but that is exactly what assassin uses in its kit to get where they need to go and get ya. Because a lot of times when people see me, they either go, oh, that's Fuzz, we gotta beat her up, or, she doesn't look too bad. She's way over there. She's not a problem. And that moment, soon as you tell yourself they're not a problem, they're gonna be a problem. So when I flank, and I run into another assassin, I will try to scare them or get them into a position where they think, oh no, it's way too risky to go over here because that person's over here. They're too strong or too scary to go up against. And I like doing that because I like messing with other people playfully, obviously. I'm not doing this to be mean or anything. I just think it's very funny.
Yeah. Because
then, we'll point at each other across the field and we'll be like, I'm watching you, and it's fun like that.
Okay.
Disrupting the enemy's flank is, I would say, what that is.
So we've touched on this a number of times, but can you really speak to the difference between a park level field and a kingdom level field? How are your tactics shifting going from park?
When I'm at park, I play very relaxed and I try out things that are new or silly, and I just like messing with my friends. A lot of it isn't very intense because everyone at my park knows each other's abilities, knows each other's capabilities, and the threat. At a kingdom event, there's obviously so many people out there that I have to be either watchful or careful around. But it also comes with knowing how people play, too. I know how Iron Yar plays. I know how my own fighting company plays. I kind of get the idea of weaknesses. I mentioned it before this show started, but I had flanked a fighting company at a big event. Mm-hmm. And the only person that seemed to notice me was their poor paladin. And by the time he yelped out, he made a little squeak, and then I got him. And I managed to flank and kill like five or four people on their team. And I play way more aggressively and a lot more, like I wear more armor. It really just depends on the class game as well. If it's a big class game that has lots of complicated parts to it, I kind of play a little bit more relaxed because I don't know what's going on. But I would say at park it's definitely a lot more silly. I don't necessarily care if I'm using, my ultimate final ability to coup de grace on somebody as opposed to a big class game where it's like, okay, I need to take out someone in that front line. Boom, they're dead, they're gone.
So what does the minimum equipment look like if I wanted to start playing Assassin?
Minimum equipment? Well, 2 swords, I'd say. 2 swords. Okay. There you go.
Yeah.
2 swords and a black sash. It's the way all assassins start.
Okay. What if I want to make the ideal battle kit? What does that look like?
If you can hit people, I would definitely suggest keeping 4 throwies on you. And my preferred throwie that I actually have used once or twice typically are throwies that have a nice heft to them. They don't get carried by the wind. They also don't hurt your opponent because you don't want to throw a brick at somebody.
Right.
Keep them on you and make sure that when you're running around, these little tools of yours don't fall off of you. I only bring 2 swords with me, so if one breaks, I'm kind of screwed. Light gear is what I'd suggest because Assassin is a very active class. Running around, trying to get into locations, moving. I would say that other than probably monk and some frontliners, you are probably the person who's gonna be running around the most.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And then if you're playing bow, like, assassin bow is still really good. I can't shoot, so I'm not too into that, but I've seen wonderful shots. And those of you out there that would like to play assassin and do bow, I would suggest, unless you are wanting to learn, like, both, you can also play scout. Scout's a good class for bow, and there's archer. Yeah. But for assassin, I think the starting gear is 2 swords, about 4 throwies, and if you can, I know it's expensive, get yourself a chest piece of armor or armor on your legs, because your legs are your lifeline. You need to be moving. And as soon as your legs go, you're a sitting duck. There's nothing you can do other than step into the shadows and hope you can be saved.
Yep, I'm tracking. Okay. So, have you got a chance to play the new archetypes yet?
I don't play, is it Spy, the one you get the free Coup de Grace?
That's Ruffian. Ruffian is if you cast Assassinate on a player after killing them with a thrown weapon, you get to recharge your...
Yeah. I've played both. I didn't necessarily find them too insane. They're definitely more for people who are, for example, Ruffian is good for people who like to throw weapons.
Sure.
I've definitely seen people just carry around like handfuls of throwaways and then go nuts on the front line. It's not for me. I don't really like Ruffian. Plus, you can't use longer weapons. And sometimes I do pick up a longsword. And then Spy. Spy is silly. You get Blink and Shadow Step become charge times 3, and you cannot wear armor. I think it's a little too much to do that. Like, yeah, you can run around and get in and out faster, but again, there are so many spells that can kill you while you're in sub, and you can't wear armor? Like, I suggest at least 1 point of armor too. But gosh, it is such a risk. And if you want to be goofy silly on a park day, go for it. If you're a new person, you don't have armor, and you just like running around, go for it. But in my opinion, I don't really like the archetypes.
Yeah, I really feel like the Spy archetype was built for bow assassin more than anything else. Like,
yeah,
the person that's like, oh, I play assassin so that people can't hit me when I'm doing the bow.
Yeah, that's very fair. And comparative, I actually haven't touched. This is goofy for me to say. I haven't actually touched assassin in quite some time because I picked up AP and I've started to play Corruptor and Infernal, which comparatively to Ruffian and Spy are so much more powerful.
Yeah.
Like, they are some of the strongest subclasses in the game right now. Everyone's playing AP.
I've seen a huge uptick in anti-paladin.
Yeah, and it's because I won't lie, the class is a bit overtuned and they're very strong. So unless Spy and Ruffian and the rest of the subclasses are upped a little bit, I kind of feel like Ruffian and Spy are very I just play normal vanilla assassin.
Alright, fair enough.
Oh, I forgot. Some of the weapons that you can get dagger, short, long, light thrown, and heavy thrown. Heavy thrown, if you can't hit people with little throwies, I used to make all my throwies in the shape of X's, because when they spin, they'd bounce and roll and hit people in the legs. Kite actually stole all my good throwies, but I used to make X's because they're big, and when you throw them like a frisbee, there's a very high chance that they'll hit somebody's leg and keep rolling and bounce off of people's legs.
Okay, so you're trying to stack multiple hits with the bounces rule.
That, and it's hard for me to just it's easier for me to throw a frisbee than it is to throw like a ball at people. Because I play a smidge of healer and then I play AP Infernal, and I can't hit anybody with balls or fireballs. So if you want to, as someone who is obviously try to play a class to the best of your capabilities. If you can't shoot a bow, it's okay not to pick up a bow. You don't have to. If you're not good at, fighting with a light throwing, go heavy throwing and try that one.
I want to shift gears a little bit. We're going to talk about some of the nuts and bolts of being a Paragon, being an authority on the class. So, First thing I want to ask you about, what is something that a player can do to really stand out when they're trying to become a Paragon Assassin?
Oh, I like this topic. I'm biased. I think that Paragon should be more than just you're good at the class. I think you as a person and the way you appear on the field matters a lot. I feel like, for example, if someone gets knighted, I feel like they should be of knightly quality. I think they should be kind and helpful and generally have a good attitude, right? Like you don't want to give someone a title if they're not encompassing what that title should be. You can't just call someone a good person and then watch them, like, knock a cart of water over. For a Paragon, I feel it should be more than just you're good at yelling at people, you're good at blocking, whatever. I feel like you should be on the field and able to know your abilities enough to go, yeah, this is how this works, but also be kind enough and able to give knowledge a little bit. You know what I mean? You don't have to be, like, incredibly good at giving knowledge, but you should at least be approachable and know the class well enough to inform others, and your attitude should be pretty good. I feel like, if you're going to be a Paragon, you should at least be an approachable, friendly person. That doesn't say you have to be butterflies and rainbows, like, that's alright. You don't want to give a Paragon to someone who's just mean, or a bully, right? I don't tolerate people like that at my park, especially if they're making the environment uncomfy. I think Paragon should definitely be someone who are just a fun person to be around. And then obviously good at your abilities. I didn't know the teleport incant for the longest time because I never used it. Shame on me. So when people go, "Hey Fuzz, what's the teleport incant?" And I'm like, I don't know, I don't use it. You should try to strive to know the class and know the class's strengths and weaknesses so you can tell other people. And the last one is just for fluff, because we are a role-playing game. When you're on the field and people see you, you should be able to be looked at and people go, "Oh yeah, they play assassin," or "Oh yeah, that's an assassin." You should encompass the spirit of assassin, which in my opinion is flinky hijinks, causing panic, and being goofy silly and causing mischief. You don't even need to be out there getting kills. You could just be pulling people's attention and still be winning.
Okay. What advice would you give someone who's just starting out as a level 1 assassin?
Be prepared to to be pointed out and people calling you out a lot if you're flanking. Get good at single sword and flow, and that will carry you. A lot of the game is just getting good at a weapon and then slapping on some knowledge of the class on top. If you're confident with your capabilities with 2 swords, assassin is good for you. It's a nice, easy, not much magic to worry about. Don't be afraid to try new things. If you think, moving to a location and trying to hold it will work out for you, try it. And if you die, hey, now you know. For a new assassin. This is a goofy one, but don't necessarily be backstabbing all the time. I know it's really easy, I know it gets you kills, but also don't forget to engage people, because being able to fight someone head on is just as important as winning an objective or whatever. It teaches you a lot of things. So don't be afraid to just fight people, and if you die, hey, that's okay. It's fine. Don't always backstab. Try to get good at fighting with a friend and pinchering and being able to move across the field.
What advice would you give someone that wants to go from being a level 6 assassin to skill-wise trying to be a Paragon Assassin?
First thing, I believe Paragon Assassin is one of the highest number of Paragons in the game, just because it's a very easy and fun class to pick up. So I'm not saying you have a lot of competition, but there is a air of, I need to stand out, I need to do all this. Trying to go from level 6 to Paragon.
Do you want to know a fun fact?
What's up?
So I actually have a report that I've pulled that tells me how many Paragons there are for every class in the whole game. There are 177 active Paragon Assassins and 232 Paragon Assassins all time.
Holy moly.
Yeah, it might be number 3.
There's a lot of us.
Yeah, it is the number 3 most Paragon class.
Yep, better to say, I know it's really high up there. And obviously the lowest are going to be like AP and Paladin.
Just for time in game, yeah.
Yep. And that's just natural because they are pretty... I feel a little biased on this. When I got my Paragon, first of all, I didn't think I deserved it because I play the class a lot more relaxed than a lot of people play Assassin. A lot of it is just waiting for an opportunity and then pouncing on it. A lot of it is people not realizing how much of a threat I am, because I won't lie, women fighters aren't looked down upon, but we're treated slightly different because of the way the game plays, and that's just normal. Like a lot of ladies will play support classes and stuff like that. You don't necessarily see them on the front lines a lot, and that's just because we're playing to how our bodies work, and how we're comfortable on the field.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't look at me, and when I get up there and I'm in striking distance, aha, I'm gonna be the winner. So I feel like if you want to go for Paragon Assassin, make a way for yourself that is both fun, engaging, and you change up the battlefield, not in a bad way, but you change it up enough that people have to worry about you. And I mean that in a good way. I mean that like people have to go, oh crap, they're flanking, watch out, watch out, watch out. Paragon ship kind of fell upon me. I did not expect it. She got my Paragon at the same time my buddy Moose did. She's a she's a Paragon monk. Both of us just stood there shocked. Kite threw a cloak at me and it like fell over my face. So there's a picture of me just standing there in shock with a cloak on my face. I think I got it because of all the silly things I've done in the past. And if silly is the way that gets you Paragon hood, and I mean that in a good way, I just mean like a good personality on the battlefield, then try your best to be an aspiring individual that people can look upon and, Griffin attitude, I should say. Griffins and... I'm trying to think of the...
I think like maybe Jovius
battle. There you go. Orders of battle. Oh, Jovius, yeah. Even Jovius. I would say that, a lot of it breaks down to just being a person on the battlefield. You don't have to make people leave with a smile, but it does help a lot to make this game welcoming and fun for everyone. And I apparently had gotten a lot of attention because I'd get people to resurrect me and heal me. I've gotten my own enemies to give me enchantments and then I run away with them. It's a good time.
Okay, so as a Paragon Assassin, you have the right to take on an apprentice. Have you ever taken an apprentice?
I'm thinking about it. I have a buddy of mine who's really interested. The only issue, though, is that he lives in a different town, so I'm not there each park day to kind of tell him what's up. It's also a little hard because I feel like taking an apprentice, you have to find someone who is a lot like you. Because a lot of the people... Oh my gosh, my shorts have pockets. Sorry. I think you should try to find someone who's very like-minded. For example, me and my knight are very, very much the same. Me and her both get along because we're both laid back, silly, and we're kind of shy when it comes to our art. Assassin, on the other hand, there's a lot of different play styles. Whether you're frontline, flanking, or hanging out with a buddy and trying to do shenanigans off to the side. Find somebody whose style is very similar to you, and be like, hey, are you interested? The person that asked me, I don't feel necessarily totally plays like I do. So it's a little hard for me to be like, well, try this, and then it doesn't work. And I'm like, well, have you tried thinking differently? Think outside the box? I haven't yet, no.
Okay. So I've got 3 questions left for you here. So first, what is your next Amtgard goal? What are you working towards?
I want to get Paragon into Paladin.
All right.
I think it's going to be super fun. I love my getup is now, it's my assassin armor, but with a big spooky cape, and I have a cool looking helmet. And then I am very close. I am very close to being I'm either on the watch list or near getting on the watch list for a Serpent Knight.
Oh,
so
cool.
Serpent Knight, Paragon AP, and then I would like to be a warlord. It's going to be very, very difficult for me. But I'd like to. I really like fighting. I have 7 Orders of the Warrior. I love fighting.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, I was going to say that at first, but I was like, nah, Master Dragon sounds cooler. But yeah, I have 7 Orders of the Warrior. Isn't that insane?
That is so many Orders of the Warrior.
I am an incredibly small fraction of female fighter out there. I'm like 3%.
It's
insane.
The average Amtgarder has like 2 or 3 Orders of the Warrior. And getting up past 4 or 5 is a journey all on its own.
It is insane, and I think a lot of it ties into like I travel a lot, and I used to be in Rivermore, and then I moved to Polaris. So there is some like a war description. As like obviously, I would say in Polaris, I'm a 5th Order of the Warrior. So I feel like my Orders of the Warrior are slightly inflated. But hey, if up in Seattle, I'm a warlord by their standards. I was so close to winning that tournament. It was so much fun, and I blew them away because someone who fought like me before. Do you know the fainting goat?
Like
you know that move?
No. What is the fainting goat move?
So I've used it in tournaments before. Quick side story. So you look at your opponent, and it's typically something you do with you have single sword. So you can do it in tournaments or whatever, and you get closer and you get closer till you're confident. And what you do is you go meh, and you fall over, and when you fall, you swing for their side and get them in the side.
Okay.
And then you flop on the ground. Like, I'm telling you, I pull all the goofy things out of the pockets when I'm fighting people. Kite popped me out of insub behind an enemy line once, and I killed like 5 people.
All right.
Combos are crazy.
The fainting goat. I've seen that move done, but I've never heard anyone make a goat noise before they do it.
Oh, I always make some sort of weird noise, especially when I'm like dinking around on combat.
That's so fun. Okay. When you're at Polaris events and even out of Kingdom events, is it okay for people to come up and talk to you, talk shop about Assassin?
Oh my gosh! Yes! Yes, I am super friendly. I love talking to people. This is why this call has gone on for like 2 hours. Absolutely. Come up to me and talk to me about art, about Assassin, about the game. If you come up to me and try to talk about Wizard, I'll do my best. I don't play the class, but I'll try. All I know is that they cast a lot of spells that kill me when I'm in sub.
Okay. Do you have any final advice for all our little assassinlings out there before we let you loose?
The big thing that I think a lot of people forget about is that we play the game to have fun. If you're not having fun, try to figure out a way that you're having fun. Make sure you're, leaving the place better. Make sure you make people smile. Make yourself smile. Have fun.
All right.
That's my advice.
Well, a special thank you to Fuzz for coming on the show today. It's been an absolute delight talking to you about Assassin.
Thank you.
To you, the viewer at home, if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe for more battle gaming content. If you have any more questions that you want to ask Fuzz, throw them down in the comments, and I will ping her and say, hey, you have another question, and try to make her come answer them. It's always fun to get follow-ups from the viewers out there. And if you don't have any questions, we will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.